Yo, what is up, everybody? Welcome back. Today we're talking about the sleepers of Dominaria United. These are the cards that I think people aren't aware of, or that are like people are glossing over for other cards, or these are cards that I think you should keep an eye on because of a future set. Because we're going to New Phryxia, we have the Brothers War, which usually means a lot of artifacts, maybe Phyrexian mana. Regardless, these are the cards you should definitely keep an eye on, and that I believe that people are just not really paying attention to. We're gonna jump right in. Our first one is Archangel of Wrath. This card is kind of like a flying siege rhino that can shoot things. So it's a 4-mana 3/4 with lifelink, flying lifelink. You can kick it for red or black, and deals 2 damage to a creature or a player, any target you want. And I really do think this card is underrated. People are glossing it over, and this was on my top 5 picks as well for the set. I won't go too. I won't do too many of these where it's like, okay, this is also on my top 5 cards. But I do want to mention this one because I do think people are sleeping on it. I do think it's a very good Magic card. So definitely pick these up if you like mid-range decks. This card is great in mid-range for sure. Next up is Battlewing Mystic. So Battlewing Mystic is a uncommon and is a 2-mana 2/1 flying creature with kick or red. And then when you kick it, when it enters the battlefield, you discard your hand, then you draw 2 cards. This may seem a bit underwhelming, but in all honesty, it's similar to a Seasoned Pyromancer. It's also a wizard, which is a very relative creature type. It has flying, has evasion, and I just think this card is a good card. You'll want a deck that's low to the ground that can empty its hand. You play this as like a 3-mana divination, right? So it's 3 mana. You get 2/1 body. You discard your hand. You get to draw 2 cards. It's just sweet. Even on curve, if you do need a creature to attack, and you don't want to discard your hand, or if you have multiple of these, you can just play for 2 mana. Obviously, you don't want to play a 2-mana 2/1 flying, and that's it in your decks. But again, this is a great alternative to Seasoned Pyromancer, and I really do think this card is being slept on and has potential in older formats too. Possibly historic. Maybe the Wizards deck will play like 1 or 2 of these just to refill. It's sweet. It's sweet, and it's definitely one that you should keep an eye on. It's also uncommon, easy to pick up, just in case. All right, this next one, I'm kind of pushing a little bit because, all right, so I want to do 10 sleeper cards. This one is like, all right, so it's 3 mana to draw 2 cards. If it was kicked, the opponent discards a card. So for 5 mana, you can draw 2 and discard 1. So basically, 5 mana, 2 for 1 overall. Divination was playable at some point in Standard, obviously a long time ago. But even this card, like I would play it in my blue-black Mirari Conjecture deck as a Divination, as a sorcery that Mirari can grow back. I do like that the kicker is just a bonus. This card's not crazy, but it is. I do think it's a sleeper. Obviously, this set I think is a little bit powered down. It's not as strong as older sets, which is a good thing. If that's the case, this card could maybe see play. It's a stretch, but it is a better divination, and it's another one that you should definitely look out for as the metagame adapts and becomes what it is. So another card people are overlooking is Silver Scrutiny. It's 2 mana X. If X is 3 or less, you can cast it at instant speed. If it's X is more than that, cast it at sorcery speed. It's like a Mind Spring with upside to being flexible instant. And yes, I know, I get it. This card, it does compete with Memory Deluge. I totally understand that. But you have to keep in mind that these blue-white decks with the fairy are also getting the Lotus, the Timeless Lotus, right? And this card with Timeless Lotus lets you just like refill really quickly. It's great in those Bant type decks, those Bant ramp decks where, all right, you know what, EOT, I can play at flash speed EOT. Okay, on my main phase, I'm just going to tap out and refill because I need more gas. Obviously, that's a good memory deluge, but it is a card that I do think is good. I think Mind Sprinks I'll play as well in those green blue decks. So if blue green is good, especially Bant with Teferi and Lotus, I think this could see play in those decks just to refill real quick. Not many, like maybe one or two of in those decks, but I do like it. And it is one that has been overlooked because of memory. All right, this next one is a Knight of Dusk Shadow. 2/2 menace, nothing crazy. But then all can also pump itself, also not crazy. But it does have the ability where it says your opponents can't gain life, and it has like the relevant creature type as human. I think it's important to have for the sideboard in case decks do gain much life. Like if you have a mid-range humans deck or just a mid-range deck with black, this is a great way to stop those annoying Ajani Pride mates and voice of Resurgence or voice of the Blessed or Righteous Valkyrie. Stop them from gaining life, right? And it's a body, and it's only 2 mana, so it comes down on time. It stops those decks from getting life. I do like this card. I do like this card as a sideboard card, and it's sweet. It's sweet for what it does. It's not it's not like crazy, but it is one that is definitely overlooked, and I think it will see play in sideboards in some formats where life gain decks are very relevant. Definitely keep definitely just again pick up a few of these. They're uncommons. You know, people might leave them laying around tables after a draft, so you know, better safe than sorry. Now this next one is Shieldred the Apocalypse. Everyone's hitting on this card, myself a bit included. Compared to like the other Praetors, doing attacks is like you counter your opponent's spell, double your spells, or things like double your counters, half the opponent's counters. Or Brass says don't let them draw cards. You can draw double cards, and then Shieldred is just when we draw a card, you gain 2 life. When your opponent draws a card, they lose 2 life in Death Touch. This seems very underwhelming, but honestly, the more I think about this card, the more I like it. Longer, like, yes, it's a weird siege right now, but honestly, if your opponent loses 4 life, like if you're able to keep this in play for a couple turns, that is so huge. That life swing is massive, and it just adds up. If your opponent is drawing more cards, it's going to hurt them more. If you draw more cards, it's going to help you stabilize. And again, it's not a crazy broken card, but I do think this card is being paid on too much. Unlike the other Praetors, Jin costs like what, 7, and Vortex costs 6. She only costs 4. She's pretty easy to play. She's good. I think she's pretty good in mid range and even control decks to try to stabilize against like aggressive decks. You can play this, then try to untap and gain some life. And Skyclave Apparition is rotating, so her butt is big. And of course, you can argue, oh, she'll come down and she'll just die. Okay, sure. I mean, anything can die, right? And I know I get that like this has no ETB ability. There's just no effect that comes into play right away. But I do think this card is just being hit on too much, and it might be a good idea if they're cheap, pick some up early on because of all that hate, because people are saying it's not great, and even if she is cheap, Praetors are a great pickup anyways. In the long run, that she'll go up. She does combo with things like which is Mastery, where if you gain life, you get to draw your whole deck, which is pretty cool. Yeah, I like this card. It's a weird siege right now, but it's not 3 colors, right? Like obviously, siege right now you can like replay, you can blink it, and you can have multiples out. But this one is also just monocolored, maybe in like some black white mid range deck. But I do think even I was being a little too harsh on it. I do think it has potential, especially if the format slows down. This next one is Balmor, Battle Mage Captain. 2 mana, 1/3 flyer. This is whenever you has insert a sorcery spell, creature you control get +1/+0. And that's like, you're like, okay, +1/+0. That's not that sure. But why not just play another prowess creature? Why play this one? It's because of the next line that says, the next part that says, and they get trampled in a turn. So Balmor allows you to not only grow your creatures, all of them, if they have prowess, they grow twice as big. They also can trample. That's huge. If you've ever played a prowess deck, he's also a wizard. Sometimes it can be rough to get those last points of damage in because you just don't have trample or too much evasion. And Balmor not only like threatens to double pump your prowess creatures. If they have prowess, they pump by prowess, and they pump by him. But he also threatens to kill the opponent with a trample. I don't think you just jam forward these in your prowess decks. I think you just play a couple as a way to push damage through. And yeah, it's like a prowess lord in a way, right? If you think about it, because it basically just gives all your creatures prowess again. Like prowess +1/+0, and gives them trample. I do think this one is definitely one to keep an eye on. Especially it's only 2 mana. That's not much. Like the opponent untapping this card is terrifying, or you should be scared at least. If Holy Diva untaps this card, you should be terrified. All right, next one is Jorah, Ageless Innovator. 2 mana for 2/3. I love that she's a 2/3 instead of a 2/2. The 3 toughness is huge to dodge things like Stomp, or Shock. Or even the Angel, or even Archangel of Wrath shock. So I do like that she has 3 toughness and allows her to block better. So you tap her to put 2 ingenuity counters on her. Then you can put an artifact with mana value X or less from hand on the battlefield, X the number of counters on her. I love that it's X or less, not exactly X. And this card isn't going to take much to get out of hand, especially on curve. You play her. Next turn, she pays for herself when you tap her. In the following turn, if you do have a 4-drop artifact, that's just so much. Like you're double spelling because like let's say on your 4th turn, you have 4 mana. You play a 4-drop, and you still have all your mana available to you. That's powerful. And then from there, she just gets bigger and bigger and bigger. The only downside is figuring out if you have enough artifacts. Depending on the format and which ones you want. Like obviously, she can't really. You don't really want her with Thought Monitor. Like Thought Monitor doesn't really. It costs 6, right? Or 7 actually. So Jorah doesn't really work with Thought Monitor too well, but it really depends on the artifacts that we have access to. We'll have to look at them all for older formats, and we will have to keep an eye on this card as more cards come out. She's really cool. Obviously, really fun commander. I mean, I'd want to build an artifact deck. I'd want to build an artifact deck with her, especially if you find ways to untap her, right? And you know, there are a lot of artifacts that do untap creatures. There's plenty of things that untap creatures, so it's not that unrealistic to tap her to put an artifact down. Maybe a 2-minute artifact untaps her, untap her. Put a four artifact down, and if you have something like Paradox Engine, where you just get to untap this card over and over again, that's really gross, right? It's just combo city at that point. So yeah, keep on this one. She's very powerful if she untaps, and then in the future of Standard, just see what artifacts we get. Just to see how strong she truly is. All right, next one, another uncommon. There's so many sleeper uncommons. I love that. I love that the sleepers are mostly uncommon so far, so super nice. So Raph, whether like Stalwart, 2 mana for 1/3. And it says whenever you cast instant sorcery spell, lots of instant sorcery triggered creatures. It says you may tap 2 untap creatures you control. If you do, draw a card. And then you pay 5 mana to give all creatures +1/+1 in vigilance until end of turn. So this card is really good with like things that make tokens. Things like, I think in standard we have Join the Dance, which makes 2/1/1s as flashback to make more tokens. Because if you're able to make tokens, cast spell, tap those tokens, draw a card, make more tokens, tap them, draw a card, and over and over again. That's pretty powerful. That's pretty powerful for 2-drop in a token type strategy. So we'll have to see exactly how many more we have. I know we have during the dance standard. I know like older formats on Arena have like servo exhibition and raise the alarm. Things like Omen the Sun aren't quite good enough because they're enchantments, not instants or sorceries. So yeah, this seems very interesting in a token type deck. I wanna go have a look for Bant and standards to see if we do have enough, because we do have the sweet Bant ascendancy that gives all creatures counters and planeswalkers counters. So seems sweet there. Definitely one to keep an eye on. Definitely a powerful card. And a sweet commander for like Pauper Commander. If you're playing Pauper Commander, I think you're able to have like one not uncommon legendary creature. And your deck is full Pauper cards or common cards. So yeah, regardless, I think this card is just a powerful card for what it is, a 2-mana card. And again, one to safely pick up very safely pick up now instead of like a couple years later, where this uncommon becomes like even more expensive for whatever reason. Right now it's like nothing, right? All right, Ravaz of the Claw, 3-mana, 3/3, Vishino Warlock legendary creature with menace. This card says add 2 mana any combination of colors. This mana only to cast dragon creature spells. My bad. Once during each of your turns, you may cast a dragon creature spell from your graveyard. All right, but wait, there's more. Whenever you cast a dragon creature spell from your graveyard, it gains when this creature dies, exile it. So basically, you can't keep doing it. But I do think this card is super freaking sweet. It's a mana creature that adds 2 mana, which is very powerful. 2-colored mana allows you to cast creatures, has card advantage, and you can cast your dragons from the graveyard. Has a decent sized body as well. If there's a dragon deck that's like Rakdos and whatever other colors, this guy is gonna be great in that deck. Definitely one to pick up. It's just a really cool card. Another one that's cool for obviously Commander. I don't keep saying that. Like I feel like a lot of legendary creatures are cool for Commander. This one's super cool for Dragon ones, right? It's not the stereotypical Dragon Commander. And again, it's in Standard, so when these cards rotate, they become expensive. I feel like this one is a very good one for those decks. And I just think it's a cool card. I definitely think it's a sweet card. I'm not sure if we have enough dragons. I know we lost Goldspan Dragon, but we have a few dragons, especially in older formats. But definitely keep an eye on it. I like it. I'd pick it up. Sweet card. I'm excited to brew some dragon nonsense with it. All right, I think that's it. Actually, we go to Archangel of Wrath. So yeah, those are the 10 cards. Those are 10 cards I would keep an eye out for. If there's any card you think I missed that you want to talk about, let me know in the comments. I know people might be thinking about the Gix enchantment, the rare one that says when it comes into play, it looks like opponent's hand gets a creature or a planeswalker. Second chapter is like Grim Tutor deck for a card minus you lose 3 life. And last chapter is reanimation. I personally don't think that card's good. I think it's overrated. I actually might do like an overrated card to the set. I think that one is overrated. I think it's very hard to like just play something, lose life, not affect the board, and just it's a lot. It's a lot for 5 mana. It's a lot of cards, a lot of stuff you're asking for. But yeah, let me know down below if you see any cards that you like or you think that are sleepers. I'd love to see them because I love to brew cards. I love Magic. I love to brew. I love off cards are like a little off. People that maybe like aren't so easy to spot. That can be good. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. Keep in mind, I am sponsored by CoolStuffInc.com. You can use code OLLIE5 to save 5% off your entire order. You get a sweet Eldrazi whiff token. I stream live at twitch.tv/Eldrazi. Come check me out. Come say hi. And finally, last but not least, I do have my own YouTube channel. If you want to see my brews, I brew a lot. I like to think I'm one of the best brewers out there, especially for like weird, wacky decks. Check me out over on youtube.com/Eldrazi. All right, cool. Thanks so much for hanging out. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you guys and gals next time. Peace. Peace out. Thank you.